Hello, everyone. We are the Three Gigs back again. I am Paul. I represent the subcontracting community.
I'm Jim, and I represent the general construction community.
One of these days, we'll let you be the owner.
I want so badly to be the owner.
But for now, I'm the owner. I'm Craig.
Get a bunch of money and you might be able to,
That's
right?
right.
Okay. And today we're going to be talking about lien release waivers and what that means to the industry from top to bottom. Jim, give us a definition of what that is.
A lien release is a legal document outlining how much money is owed for work completed for a specific time frame. Note that, a date. Submitting a release waives the contractor's right to file a lien against the property. And there are 4 types of lien releases. Release number 1, conditional release of lien upon progress payment. Release number 2 is an unconditional release of lien upon progress payment. Release number 3 is a conditional lien release upon final payment. And release number 4 is an unconditional release upon final payment. What does that mean in layman's terms, Greg?
In today's world, banks, title companies, developers, they want liens filed. They
Liens
want lien
releases. Yeah, you were collecting
They don't
lien
want liens
releases.
filed.
Yeah, they don't want
liens.
liens.
They want
Yeah.
releases in hand, and it happens every month. So it's a lot of paperwork, and it also can be real confusing.
Right. Because, it starts with that 20-day preliminary notice that I sent to you.
Right.
And to your bank. And I'm saying, oh, by the way, I'm going to be working on your project. And from this date, going 20 days back, I reserve the right, because it's a constitutional right in the state of California anyway,
Right.
for me to put a lien on your property if I don't get paid by this guy over here.
Right.
And so I want to exercise that right to file a lien. And in order for me to do that, I have to, first of all, start with that 20-day preliminary notice.
Right.
Imagine the hassle of collecting all that paperwork for each pay application every month back in the days when we all started and there was no fax
And it was paper.
machines.
Right.
It was paper, or something came in the mail.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So on that prelim, I told you about the value of the work that I was going to be doing on your project. And then you just want to make sure that as that work progresses, that all your contracting community releases the right to claim on that,
Right.
or to lien on that amount of money each month.
Yeah.
So in construction, we've done a video, or we'll do a video on progress payments. And each month we bill progressively for the amount of work that we've done.
Right.
You want to make sure that we can't come back at a later date and place a lien on your property for something that's already been paid.
So he submits for January's payment, he submits a bill at the end of January for his progress through that date. And that release says that if you pay me, I'm releasing all my rights to file a claim for the money I put into the job through this date.
Okay.
So now we work
That's number 1.
February.
Yeah.
Okay. And at some time, hopefully during February, I actually get a check.
No way. I ain't paying that.
I know, not. So how long does it usually take for me to get a check?
I don't even get back from vacation.
Remember, I'm the bank.
Realistically, if you give him a bill on the 1st, he's probably giving me a bill on the 5th or the 6th, because he's got to collect all of the subs.
Yep.
I'm adding my costs to it. I'm paying the architects. I got this. I wrote checks to the city or county. I put that in, and I give it to the bank maybe the 10th of the month. The bank could easily take 2 to 3 weeks, knock on wood. So about the 30th of the month, I'm getting my money, and within a few days, he's getting his money. So you're getting your money about the 10th of February.
Except for now, I'm putting in a bill for my February work on the 20th or 25th of the month, and
January.
And in that billing, this guy wants an unconditional for the January payment.
And you haven't been paid yet.
I haven't been paid yet.
Yeah.
So if I carefully read the language on the number 1 and number 2. I'm okay with the number 1 because it says I'm releasing all of my rights to lien this property if I get paid. And I'll sign all kinds of those all the way through. But this number 2 on progress payment says that I have actually received the money. Not that I've received an instrument that represents that money, like a check, but that the check has actually cleared the bank.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe we should remove the month thing because that might confuse the audience. But just to say that as you submit a bill, there's a progress release, a conditional, saying you owe me this amount. And then in addition to that, if you've already billed the owner in a previous month, he wants an unconditional for that check that he's paid you that's cleared the bank.
Cleared the bank, right.
And so that is a final, no conditions allowed release of all rights to work put in through that date. So that unconditional is a pretty important document. So that's the number 2.
As the owner, am I wrong in thinking that if we've gone through January, February, March, April, and everybody's doing it right, and so I've got conditional releases from everybody for January, I've got conditionals for February, I've got conditionals for March, and I know you have been paid because I know those checks hit the bank.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I've gotten the unconditionals as well for January, February, and March. Am I wrong in assuming that nothing can come back and get me from either of you guys in terms of a claim for more money or more labor for work done in those months? Does this kind of close the door?
For the months that your unconditional is submitted, yes. That's correct.
And for the specific amount that is shown on those releases.
Right.
There's also a space on those releases to say, oh, here's some change order work that we are aware of.
Which I think is critical for subcontractors to fill out.
To fill it out. Look, we're working on change order work, or we're even aware that there's going to be a change order that we're working on, and so we're going to notify you. I don't know that this is the technical way that it works, but I think in the thought process when they put this all together, that little slot on the release forms is almost like another preliminary notice. It's like, hey, I'm notifying you that there's additional work beyond what you thought it was going to be. So it lets you, the owner, always stay apprised of what the possible ramifications of the lien process would be.
It is both a waiver and a release. Then the document waives your right to lien my property. But it also releases you and essentially certifies there will be no more claims for money, costs, or work done during those months unless you've listed those on the bottom of the page.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now let's move on towards the end of the job.
Right.
You got there is now the number 3 and the number 4, and these reference final payment.
Right.
Right. And this is where it really gets important for both subcontractors and contractors and owners to know that these become very time critical based on California lien laws and when you can file and things like that.
Right.
But they're like a number 3, so you get to the end, and I submit my final bill to you, and I'm going to give you a number 3 that's a conditional upon final.
So it's telling me it's the final.
Yep.
Final with retention and
nothing
everything.
After this,
Nothing after.
You're not sandbagging. I'm not getting another one after this.
No.
This is going to make us clear,
whole and
done.
We're
contract.
saying goodbye. Yeah.
Okay. Conditional essentially says the same thing as the other conditional. It says that as long as the check clears, that the waiver and the release are in place.
We waive all rights to all claims to all labor and material furnished to your job. So then, as I get my check from you, we play a little tug of war with the check. I don't want to give it to you until I want that unconditional final,
Right.
the number 4,
Right.
which is really the big daddy-o of them all. It's saying, I waive all claims to anything on this job.
Right.
Because I've been paid in full.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's the number 4 release.
Right.
Yeah.
And what's wrong with signing it and giving it to me before
Well, you could,
you've gotten paid?
if you were Dirty Rotten Craig, you could take that and then cancel the check and say, hey, you
I
give
got
me
a
the
number
number
4.
conditional. You can't file a claim. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I had a subcontractor who had a vendor, and the vendor called me and said that they were going to have to file a lien because they hadn't ever been paid by the subcontractor, by you.
Yeah.
You had
Yeah.
never paid them.
Yeah.
And it was for very specific work. And I went through all of the old conditional and unconditional releases, and I said to him, but like 6 months ago, here's an unconditional signed by you specifically for that work.
Right.
You even say for this work.
Yeah.
And they said, well, yeah, but if I didn't give that to the sub, they weren't going to pay me. They were really behind.
Mhm.
And the only way
they weren't
they
going
would
to get money, right?
the only way I could get any money was by feeding
Just-
them the
yeah.
unconditional.
So
Yeah.
that's a problem in the industry, right? Oh, by the way, we should let the audience also know that this is not just for contractors. This is not just for people who are doing construction services. This is also for suppliers,
Yeah. Material
vendors,
suppliers.
any kind of service providers that would come to the project that would have notified you that they would want to lien the property.
Right.
So this unconditional release is so strongly worded, though, that scenario you gave is in play most often,
Deadly.
right? Because it says, this is to the claimant. That would be me as I issue my unconditional to Jim. It says, look, watch out. This document waives and releases lien, stop payment notice, and payment bond rights unconditionally and states that you've been paid for giving up those rights. This document is enforceable against you if you sign it, even if you have not been paid. If you've not been paid, use a conditional waiver and release form.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is my best tool to either of you when you're demanding an unconditional and I don't have actual money in my bank yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's important that you know that you actually have to use state-approved language to make it enforceable.
And
Yeah,
that's
that's the other
important
thing.
too, right?
Whatever state you're in, they likely have approved language, and if it's not the approved language, and you get into a
Dispute,
pissing match with me, my lawyers are going to say, well, this was toilet paper. You didn't have the right language on it, and we should throw it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I
That's
think
that dirty Craig.
Dirty Craig.
Yeah,
We don't like
exactly
Dirty
right.
Craig.
Right.
So I hope that helped. It can be a little confusing, and of course we go down a few rabbit trails here because of the scar tissue that we all have relative to this. But in a nutshell, it is in California at least, it's our constitutional right to lien your property.
Right.
Worst case scenario, we could force a sale of your property to get paid.
Right.
And so these 4 documents are what helps that. 5 and when we count the preliminary notice. So
If this seemed like alphabet soup, join the crowd. It is something that people spend many hours getting clear in their head and making it flow. But we're the 3 gigs. This was our dive into introducing what a lien waiver and release is. Be sure to subscribe and like, and comments. Any comments you want, feel free to give them to us, especially about Paul and his eloquent diction.
and share it with everyone. This guy thinks we're going to go viral someday, so we might as well go ahead and prove him right.
No, I said I was coming down with a virus.
Oh, there's that.
Well,
All right.
guys,
Hey,
thanks for listening.
We're the 3 gigs. We're out. We'll
Bye.
see.